Well, hey, Vision. Amen. Wow, we got something special for you today. This concept that God wants to be with you in the silence. He wants to be with you in the fury. Whether your silence is a good silence, whether it's a calm silence, whether it's a peaceful silence, or honestly, maybe it's a lonely silence. Maybe it's a depressed silence. Maybe it's a hurting silence. And he's with you in the fury. Maybe that fury is the fury of shopping and getting all the things together and put all the things together and getting families and going. Or maybe it's the fury of pain, the fury of conflict, the fury of bitterness, the fury of loneliness. God is everywhere between the silence and the fury. He is peace. God sent his son Jesus as the Prince of Peace to be with us anywhere between the silence and the fury. So let's talk about this peace, this concept of peace. Because can anybody here use some more peace in their life? I think I could. I think we all could. I think people watching on Facebook Live, they're kind of checking in and say, what's going on at Vision Church? I think you could use some more peace in your life too. Maybe not today, then maybe next week. Maybe in 2019. Let's talk about peace. First word is shalom. So say shalom. Shalom. You're like, okay, I've kind of heard that before. I've heard it. What's that mean? That is Hebrew for peace. What that kind of peace is talking about is really more of like a circumstantial peace. Say, look, I'm looking into a situation and it looks calm. It looks reassuring. It looks somewhat silent and peaceful. That's shalom. So say shalom. Shalom. Okay. The other word is irene. So say irene. Okay, that's the Greek word for peace. That's what we find in the other half of the Bible. If we find the shalom in the first half, in the second half, we see irene, which is talking more about the peace in relationships between people, or literally when Paul is writing about irene, he's talking about peace between us and God. So there's different kinds of peace. Well, there's this common verse. And okay, has anybody seen Charlie Brown Christmas? So we pretty much all know this verse. We're going to read this together. Okay, let's put this verse up. Isaiah 9:6. So read this with me. For to us a child is born, to us a son is given, and the government will be on his shoulders. And now, actually, you guys read the second half. Go. And he will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. Okay, so Prince of Peace. If you're in a spot, you say, man, I need more peace. I want peace. I'm not experiencing peace. God's saying, I sent somebody for you. Even if you're sitting there saying, okay, Matt, I've accepted Jesus years ago or last week. I accepted him, but I don't feel peace, not every day. I don't feel peace in my situation. Well, that ties right in really to our mission here at Vision Church, which is to lead you to Christ and help you live out God's vision for your life, whether we're leading you to him for the first time or leading you back to him, or you've been dry or cold or bitter. God says, I sent the Prince of Peace for you. So let's talk about this concept of princes. Okay, because here in America, we got different concepts about princes. Now this week, me and Meg, we watched one of the old throwback ones, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. Anybody like that movie? And you ladies in here, you're like, him? You're like, oh, I'd watch it just for him, right? Well, hey, man, he's flinging arrows around. He's like the hero. He's the Prince of Thieves. You got to like that. Now, how about this next one? When you think about royalty, who is that? Prince Harry. Has anybody ever met a prince before? I never met a prince or a queen, or so that'd be kind of cool. So a literal prince, and then of course there's this guy, just Prince. Okay, and so I was thinking I could sing some of his lines or something like that, or tell you a little red Corvette or something like that. But no, I'm not going there with Prince. Tabitha's definitely thumbs down on that. It's not on the cue sheet. No. Okay, so that's our concept of princes. But how about we think about peace? And we all may have different pictures in our mind about peace, or maybe even songs that come in our mind about peace. Are there any Boston fans in here that listen to Boston, old school Boston? You're like, hey, peace of mind? Seriously, I love jamming that in my truck. Or how about some Eagles? And the young guys like, Eagles? What's up with that? Eagles? And you're stand on the corner, Winslow, Arizona. Such a fine sight to see. And then what's next? It's a girl, my Lord. Flatbed Ford, right? See, even I guess God's in that song, right, my Lord? But anyways, we sing songs about peace. We talk about peace. But so many times our life is ooh, it's wrestling against peace. Now, how about these next two pictures? I want to know, I'm going to show you both of them, and I'm going to do a little quiz here. Because if you like to go to maybe this place for peace, you're like, yes. Okay, or maybe you like to go to this place for peace. Come take a little vote. Okay, how many people are going to the beach? I'm not talking Myrtle Beach. I'm talking like down South Florida, down like Aruba, warm place for peace, okay? All right, and who's going to the mountains? Who's going to the mountains for peace? Wow, we'll go. I don't want to go to the cold mountains. I mean, I'm going somewhere warm for me to get some peace. And then I got this other picture, which I love this painting that had been painted about peace. And you look at this, and it's like this big storm. Actually, this looks like Gaston County the last couple weeks, doesn't it? But in this storm, you say, how could that possibly be about peace in the thunder, in the fury, in the rain, in the lightning? But actually, in the next slide we got of it, you see what's circled there? You're like, the older set's like, wait a second, let's put some glasses or something on. Actually, I'll enlarge it for you. The next one here, you can see right in there, that's a bird. That's a bird hidden in, I guess you call it like the cleft of the rock, hidden in this spot where in the midst of fury, in the midst of storm, that bird, and you go ahead and take that down with you, thank you. That bird is experiencing peace. So I want you to understand where I'm going today, talk about the Prince of Peace. The storms aren't going to stop. Life is about storms. Life is about pain. Jesus speaks into this, and we're going to take a look today about Jesus as the Prince of Peace, and literally God with us, God here on earth with us to help us. So take a look at Matthew chapter 1. It says, all this took place to fulfill what the Lord had said through the prophet. Back in the Old Testament, it said, the virgin will conceive and give birth to a son, and they'll call him Emmanuel, which means God with us. So say Emmanuel. Okay, so this concept that literally God would be with us here on earth, and for them to look at this prophecy and say, oh, wait a second. Now, how's a virgin going to give birth? That makes no sense. That would have to be something miraculous. And God said, exactly. That's how I'm going to send the Prince of Peace miraculously. Now, when we look at Jesus and say, okay, so how did he give peace? How does he give peace? Well, his peace is a little bit different than what we think of. In John 14, he said, peace I leave with you, my peace I give you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Don't let your hearts be troubled, and don't be afraid. So make sure you understand this. Jesus is not promising easy. So if you're sitting here today saying, okay, Pastor Matt, give me a double portion of easy, of calm, that's my peaceful. Jesus is not saying he'll give you easy. Jesus is saying he will give you help. Just like that bird, the storm didn't go away, but there was covering and protection for that bird. I say, I want some of that. Because I guarantee you, in my 2019, there's going to be some storms. There's going to be some pain. There's going to be some conflict. And Jesus isn't saying, well, Matt, I'm going to make it easy. Jesus is saying, Matt, I'm going to give you help. I will do that for you. Well, John 16:33, Jesus said, I've told you these things so that in me you may have peace. Like literally, we can be one with Christ. He is our Prince of Peace, wants to have a relationship with us. And Irene, a peaceful relationship with us where we're in union with him. He says, in this world you will have trouble, but take heart. I have overcome the world. I want to follow a leader who's overcoming the world. Because there's a lot of my days, I feel like I'm not overcoming the world. The world's overcoming me. I say, God, I want that kind of peace. Well, the half-brother of Jesus also wrote about this in the book of James, where he said, consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, when you face trials of many kinds. Who likes facing trials? Who likes having a rough week at work? Who likes your finances being so tight that you feel it here? James says, those things are still going to happen. They're going to happen. Trials will happen. Jesus is saying that you are going to have tough times in this world. Well, there's good news in the short term for us, because in 2 weeks, we're starting a new series. It's called Life Hacks. You ever hear about these things in life? We can find little shortcuts. Little ways to do things a little bit easier, a little bit smarter to make your life better. So in 2 weeks, we're going to start a series through the book of James called Life Hacks, where we're going to work on tough relationships, tough times, rough things in our world, where God says, I want to help with that. I'm not going to make it easy, but I am going to help. Then say, God, I want some of that. I want that kind of peace. I want it. Well, the book of Matthew, where I spent a lot of time this week, it is a journey with Jesus filled with times that he gave people peace. He didn't necessarily make things easy, but he did help. So if you got your takeaway card, I'm going to kind of zip through some things that he did to give them peace, and I hope it's helpful for you because I know I need peace when I look at these things and say, Jesus, I want some of that. I want that kind of peace. And we talk about this Prince of Peace coming. He came a miraculous way. Literally, God with us came through a baby. This was after 400 years of silence when the people were calling out to God for help. And it seemed like he was silent, like he was gone. And if you're ever in that spot, you're crying out saying, God, where are you at? I want peace. I want your help. Why are you silent? God will miraculously find a way to get in your world. He did it through a baby. Let's see how Jesus gave peace. He healed the sick. Maybe you're in a spot saying, God, I need some healing. If you still hear my congestion up here, we may joke and say, man, still need some healing. 10, 11 weeks on this thing. I'm feeling it. And with, I don't know if you guys know, Kevin Kollick, part of our student ministry, had full knee replacement surgery this week. Man, his leg looked awful online. It did. All these staples on there and stuff. I was going to go see him yesterday. He was hurting too much. I'm going to see him next week. I told Kevin, I said, Kevin, with each of my surgeries I've had, God taught me something different about my journey, about my mortality, about empathizing. You know, our bodies are breaking down, but God sent Jesus. Jesus got in people's world, says, I can heal. I can touch you. Jesus in Matthew 5, he taught life-changing truths. He didn't just blow hot air at us. He taught things that could truly help us in our relationships, on our journey. He calmed the storms. You think about your 2018, I've been asking people, hey, how was your year? A lot of people are like, man, I can't wait for this thing to end. I need to turn the calendar to a new year. And what I hear in them is them saying, man, I had a bunch of storms. I needed God to calm them. I just need to get out of this year. Jesus calmed, and Jesus calms storms. He offered rest for the weary. Who's looking forward to some rest this next week? Some rest. You can sleep in. You can stay up late. Whatever it is to get your rest, Jesus says, I've got deep internal rest. I will pour into you in a way that you can feel like the burdens are taken off. I'll give you rest. He fed hungry people. Man, we're going to go out to Crowder's this week and go see the kids from Watoto and bring in piles of pizza, and we can't wait to see their smiles and their face. You know, when you feed somebody, you make a connection with them. Jesus, he just connected people. Said, I'm going to feed you. I'm going to take care of you. He displayed authority over nature. Here in Gaston County, we're saying, Jesus, display some of that. Stop the rain. We've had enough rain. But you figure, back in those days, when there were storms on water, when Jesus was walking on water, when there were things happening, people said, what are we going to do about this? Jesus, he displayed his authority over nature. He said, if I can control nature, I can control what's in your situation. I can give you help. He said he would come after lost sheep. Whether this is you, and you're like, yeah, I feel pretty far from God, pretty lost. Maybe it's somebody you're praying for. Maybe it's somebody that, if we're being honest, you've kind of given up on. Say, God, you could never reach them. Jesus says, I can. I come after lost sheep. He promised that all things are possible with God. That is great news. If you feel like you're in such a dark place, he said, there's no way out. There's nothing I can do. God says, it's still possible. I can do that. He assured us that he'll return. It's great news for us that see that the world is decaying, falling apart. Jesus said, I assure you, I'm coming back. He gave visuals to remember him by. This one here, we're going to drill down on it at the end today, because here at Vision Church, we don't believe in rituals, but we believe in traditions. You walk in, you're like, hey, what's up with the candles? What's in the corners? This is called communion. If you're new to church, if you just visit with us today, we as a church will partake in communion, that literally Jesus gave us visuals to take on our journey to remember him as the Prince of Peace. More on that later. He showed us that he could defeat death. Death could not overcome him, and we know in our lives, hey, we're not physically going to defeat death, but spiritually we can get past it and have a place that we will go forever that has defeated sin and death. And then last, he guaranteed he would always be with us. I love it in Matthew 28. He says, look, don't you worry. I will always be with you. Never will I leave you. That's what a good prince does, a Prince of Peace. So let's think about this Prince of Peace. He arrived on earth. He came here in a most unusual way. The way we would describe it would be, well, coming in as a conqueror on a big horse with power, with an army behind you. And he came in so humbly, he said, I'm going to come as a baby. He didn't come in a royal or flashy way or a powerful way. He came in a miraculous way that anybody could connect with. Say, okay, a baby? Well, here at Vision, we've also been tracking with a baby this year. If you're new here, say, Matt, I don't know what you're talking about. There's a family in our church that they were on track to have a baby in May. Well, I got a call in February. It said, Pastor Matt, they're having the baby tonight. I said, no, they can't be having it tonight. And I said, when I get that kind of call and I hear it and I start praying and say, God, without you, this is a death sentence. I actually researched it this week. Preemies, premature babies born at 26 weeks have basically a 50 to 60% chance of making it. So how many parents in here, how many people in here have ever had a baby in your home? How would you feel if I said, okay, one of your kids, let's flip a coin. Heads they make it, tails they don't. I mean, you're in a spot saying, oh, Lord, you've got to do a miracle here. You've got to help this baby. So we saw a miracle this year in this baby, like we saw a miracle generations ago in Jesus coming. So check out this video.
Hi, I'm David.
And I'm Samantha.
In fall of last year, we were expecting our first child due in May.
But on February 1st, they started feeling intense labor pains and we rushed off to the hospital. At 26 weeks and 5 days, they tried everything to keep the babe in me, but nothing was working, and we got maybe 5 minutes notice that they were rushing me off for an emergency C-section. He was transferred to Levine's. He was 2 pounds, 7 ounces. He was intubated, placed in an incubator. They had to check for heart murmurs, cranial bleeds, and after all of that was cleared up, 8 days later, we got to hold him. I got to hold him for the very first time.
And then I didn't get a chance to hold him until 3 weeks later because of traveling for work.
One of the things that he had to work through are these events called bradycardias, which is where the heart slows down. He had caffeine to help him through those spells, but every time I would hold him, he would get super comfortable smelling me and feeling my heartbeat, like when he was inside, and he would get so comfortable that he would go into his own Brady spell, and all of a sudden this wiggly little baby would get really still. The alarms started going off. Nurses had to come and we had to help remind his heart to keep beating, don't slow down, and get that comfortable. He was in the NICU. It was a really scary time. You never knew if you were going to get a call when you were at home that something had happened and you needed to rush to the hospital. So one day we were next to his bedside and it was God. He was just speaking to us right there. He said that Jeremiah 29:11, for I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you, not to harm you. So after Theo learned how to breathe on his own and maintain his temperature, the next thing was how to suck, swallow, and breathe on his own at the same time, which is how to take a bottle. As he accomplished these tasks and we were nearing his take-home date, we texted small group, family, all for prayer support on when would be Theo's time to come home and that it would be God's timing. We spent a weekend with him, and 3 hours before we were supposed to take him home from the hospital, he had a Brady in the middle of his sleep, which meant that he needed to spend another 7 days in the hospital. And it was God's sign that not yet his time to come home.
So after spending 100 days in the hospital, we were finally able to take Theo home on a heart monitor. As I was driving home with Theo and Samantha in the back seat, it just felt unreal. The feelings I could not even describe.
When we finally arrived home, we were greeted at the door with a bucket of KFC and our small group ready to help us bring everything in, love on us, and celebrate on finally getting Theo home. Since bringing him home, life has been amazing. Not a lot of sleep, but a lot of giggles and a lot of awesome experiences with Theo. We have multiple therapists. We have multiple doctors we work with. Thankfully, my mom is staying with him during the week so we can keep him away from germs that he's just not ready to fight yet. And honestly, he's the best miracle we've ever witnessed up close.
So you want to hear about a baby that is a miracle. Not just generations ago when Jesus came into this world, but a visionary baby. We've been praying this year. We've been telling you about Theodore. And for his first time ever at Vision Church, I want you to welcome David and Samantha Doe and baby Theodore. Oh, my goodness. Oh, wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful. You guys can come over here and take a seat. Here you go, Samantha. Well, guys, this has been a lot of prayers this year. This has been a lot of visits from small groups this year and reports and talking and, and hearing about this beautiful little boy. And it's amazing to see you guys here. I'm so glad it worked out. Congratulations. Let's talk about your year. We talk about peace, and this on paper has not been a peaceful year. This has been a traumatic year, a year of fury and pain and fear. But Samantha, why don't you start off telling us how has Jesus been the Prince of Peace for you guys this year? What's that been like?
I referenced it some in the video with Jeremiah 29:11, and God promised he had a future, one of hope for Theo, and we just clung to that, and we got constant reminders. People who didn't even know we were connecting with at first kept sending it to us. So as we faced each issue with him, it was hope. God had a hope. God had a plan for him. We're going to get through this, and God's plan is greater than what we could even imagine.
Absolutely. David, how about you? What's your perspective on the year and how God's been your peace in this? How's that gone? You want to see if Theo wants to talk? He'll just drool on it.
Well, pretty much just knowing that everybody's been here for us in the roughest times, and our family here at Vision. None of us, we haven't seen many of you guys in person. We've been watching online and everything, so it's just been great to know that everybody's been praying for us, our family, friends, and everybody here. So,
right. And David, what would you say to somebody who's grappling with the fact that they don't feel peace in their life? They're lacking that. They want more of that. They want to know God personally in that, or they just want to, maybe they walk with God, have drifted. Say, man, how do I get that peace back? How do I get peace in my life? What would you tell them?
well, it was really hard for us to even really talk to anybody during the roughest times, and the biggest thing was just asking for help, asking for prayer, and then once you're able to talk to somebody, that's when the doors open, and everybody is there to help you, and God and all your family, your friends. The support is enormous, and we couldn't have asked for more.
Excellent. And Samantha, how about you? What would you say to somebody? Say, how do I get that kind of peace in my life?
Well, we definitely had our days. When we first had him, we were in shock. I don't think we could even pray. Like, we couldn't even come up with the words. Like, we just were in total shock. And in that time, we knew we needed to ask for someone to pray for us. We needed help to gain perspective, and we needed that support. So that would be what I would tell anybody. If you're having a hard time, you don't know where to go, just ask someone to pray for you, and just find that certain someone that you can start opening up to and get that support.
Absolutely. I want to encourage you, if you attend Vision but aren't really connected, this is a family. And we want to be there to walk with you through your storms and to see, I mean, your small group and so many people that have chipped in with food and prayers and calls and posts to love on you guys. That's what we want to do here, is wrap our arms around you. That's what visionaries do. It really is. And so we have seen this year in such a tough year, a year that, man, God has just shown himself truly as a Prince of Peace. Thank you for modeling that to us. And Theo, man, they love you, man. I can see the picture, especially, man, that one on the floor with the lights and everything. Just takes your breath away about how beautiful this little boy is. So if you guys would, how would a big visionary thank you and celebration for this family? Wow. Well, thank you, guys. Thank you for being a part of today. And, hey, buddy. Beautiful. Thanks, Dave. Thank you. You can just put that on that stand right there. So, guys, you think about Jesus came to give peace to a family that needed help. Jesus didn't make it easy, but he offered help. And he offers that for you too, in your situation. You think about Jesus. If you want to bookend his life, say he came as a baby and he died on a cross, rose from the dead. You think, man, from here to here, what happened in those 33 years? He didn't always make it easy, but he did help. I want you to understand, he has that gift for you. Literally, like he's got those hands reaching out saying, I'll give you help. I won't make it easy, but I will help. With the situation in your home, and the situation with your health, with what you're going through in your job, trying to make decisions, said, I will help you no matter how old or how young you are. I'm here to help. And I think about this concept of a Prince of Peace that knows my name and loves me personally and will be there with me in 2019 to offer help. That's what God with us is all about. That's what Emmanuel is when you think about God entering into this world and offering us peace to help us.